In a restless, unstable, and noisy world, many voices promise easy answers, but there is an ancient, calm, and steady voice that echoes through the centuries. The voice of a man who ruled the greatest empire on earth, yet cared more about ruling himself. That voice belongs to Marcus Aurelius, Roman emperor and author of one of the most profound works in history. More than a book, Meditations is a journal of the soul, a personal notebook filled with thoughts, advice, and reminders written by a man who faced war's loss and unimaginable responsibilities, yet above all, desired to be good, just, and steady in the midst of chaos. Who was Marcus Aurelius? Marcus Aurelius was born in 121 AD and became emperor of Rome in 161. He was the last of the so-called 5 good emperors, ruling with balance, wisdom, and justice. But he also faced brutal wars, devastating plagues, political betrayals, and the death of nearly all his children. Despite all this, he didn't surrender to despair. Instead, he wrote, not to impress others, but to keep himself whole. What is Meditations? Meditations is not a typical philosophy book. It has no organized chapters or academic language. It's a personal journal, written in solitudes, during military campaigns, and silent nights. There, Marcus Aurelius speaks with his own conscience, seeking to improve each day, training his soul to accept what cannot be controlled, and to act virtuously in what can. Core themes of the work. 1. Inner control. Stoicism teaches that everything falls into 2 categories. What depends on you, what does not depend on you. Marcus wrote repeatedly, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. He knew he couldn't control war, plague, or the death of his children, but he could control how he responded to them. 2. The brevity of life. A recurring theme in Meditations is the reminder of life's impermanence. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you think, say, and do. Marcus didn't write this as something depressing, but as a moral wake-up call. Use today wisely. Live with virtue while there is still time. 3. As emperor, Marcus was constantly tempted to react with anger, pride, or hopelessness, but he knew the real victory was over himself. The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. He trained his mind not to give in to rage or vanity. He reminded himself that being emperor didn't make him superior, only more responsible for keeping his soul intact. 4. Duty and virtue. Marcus spoke often of duty, to do what is right, even when it brings no pleasure, even when no one is watching. Stop arguing about what it means to be good, be it. For him, virtue wasn't theoretical, it was practical and lived daily. 5. Acceptance and inner peace. Contrary to popular belief, the Stoic is not cold or indifferent. He feels, but is not enslaved by his feelings. Receive without pride, let go without attachment. This kind of acceptance is not resignation. It acquires strength that allows action with clarity, even in pain. The language of the book Meditations is written in short, direct, and profound phrases. They seem simple, but hold layers of meaning. He writes to himself. He commands himself. He corrects and confronts his flaws. So when you read it, it feels like he's speaking directly to you. Its relevance today. Why does the personal diary of a Roman emperor still touch hearts today? Because pain has changed its shape, but not its essence. Today, we don't fight with swords, but with anxiety, frustration, criticism, and loss. Marcus Aurelius shows us that in any era, it is possible to be strong without being harsh, be just without being severe, be humble even with power, be serene even surrounded by chaos. Marcus Aurelius and Christian faith. Though Marcus wasn't a Christian, many of his teachings echo spiritual truths found in Christianity: humility, self-control, acceptance of divine will, the value of virtue. These are shared between Stoicism and the teachings of Christ and the apostles. Paul once wrote, I have learned to be content in whatever circumstances I find myself. That's pure Christian Stoicism. Powerful quotes from Meditations. Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth. You have power over your mind, not over outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. The universe is change. Life is opinion. Conclusion. Meditations is not a book to read once. It is a lifelong companion. It should be read slowly, with pen in hand and an open heart. It doesn't offer ready-made answers. It offers questions that return you to yourself. Marcus Aurelius was an emperor, but his greatest triumph was not Rome. It was the quiet, daily victory over his own mind. Closing, if you're seeking more than motivational quotes, if you want to learn how to cultivate peace in the middle of the storm, then Meditations is a book for you. And as Marcus Aurelius once wrote, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Be strong, be simple, be a sentinel of your soul.